the audit. They did say in the abundance of caution, they would assign a separate partner, a different partner to finalize this report, review the report, and present to the commission.
Great. So they'll introduce a new partner to us.
Right, next month.
At the next appropriate time.
Yeah, next month the audit will be presented to the city.
And that was at their discretion.
Yes, sir.
I personally welcome that, and will welcome the new partner.
Mr. Mayor, as we move forward on this, I would like to ask that the commission possibly consider putting some kind of policy in place so that we never get into an embarrassing situation like this before. Because in the absence of rules, I went back and reviewed all of the campaign contributions that have been made for numerous years in the past. And what I found was that our prior auditor actually made contributions to candidates, financial contributions, while they were auditors. Additionally, since they lost the contract, they have made campaign contributions to the 3 people on the commission that have come up for election since then. So my concern is that if we're going to have rules, the rules need to be clear and they need to be applied equally to all people. And I know that I'm certainly hoping that our prior auditor will come again and apply to become an auditor for us. And I hope that the James Moore firm continues to apply to become an auditor. But if we were uncomfortable with the James Moore firm saying that I prepared for meetings, then I'm sure we would be equally uncomfortable with an auditor that gave the maximum possible financial contributions to people on this commission and people who were on the commission when they were auditors. So obviously, they looked at it and they said, for our firm, we're comfortable doing that. And I don't fault them for that at all, but I also didn't fault James Moore for their kind words about me. And so I guess if we're gonna have rules, they need to apply, I believe, equally to one and all, and they need to be clear enough that we're not calling people's ethics in question as a part of this public process. I don't feel good about using this forum to question people's ethical behavior when in reality, their behavior was far less than the behavior of our prior auditor and the auditor who would like to become our next auditor. So all I'm saying is I'm very happy to discuss rules. I would just like for them to apply equally to all.
Well, I think there's a big difference, Commissioner, between a contribution, and by the way, the previous auditors you referenced also contributed to your campaign in 2010. There's a huge difference, I think, between a contribution and versus, and by the way, the auditor clearly said that she was not endorsing you. So the document which you sent out probably should have noted that, but I don't know, I just see it as a huge difference. I see that it's a huge difference between, you know, the 3 people that specifically report to this commission, the lawyer, the city manager, and the others. I guess I would say engaging in a public endorsement. You know, and she said, I mean, in her letter, as you've read, apparently the same thing. We probably should have rethought that, and because of that, to assure the assurance that that there's no questions that she's asked to be relieved of that responsibility. So I support that decision. I think that she did the right thing.
So from your perspective, for a person to financially support you to the maximum extent allowable under the law is somehow totally different than someone saying that someone was prepared for a meeting and that was a positive thing. I have trouble making that distinction, and I respect the fact that you do. However,
Well, we're not talking about campaign finance reform. If we would, we'd talk about a mayor that gave like $9,000 to a candidate on this commission later. If we want to talk about that, this is about a specific action. I think you're comparing apples and apples or apples and oranges and saying because of this then something else. You know, and I don't know how we don't govern free speech here. that's not our responsibility, but I think that, you know, and again, I don't know if, and I'm not gonna put you on the spot, because this isn't about you, this is about our auditor. You know, I guess her statements may have been construed to be an endorsement. Certainly the piece that was sent to me, there was lots of endorsements, so I guess it would be an endorsement piece. And oh, by the way, the piece that was sent out also didn't have any of the appropriate legal disclaimers or sponsored and supported by, but that's
Go
a
ahead and look on the
different
next
matter.
page, that would surprise me, I suppose it's possible.
Go ahead and look, because it's not there. But, you know, again, this is about the auditor and her independence and their independence, and I think, you know, I think the firm has done personally a very noble and right thing.
And as a result of that, she will be removed from her position,
She has-
working for this city.
She has asked to do that. Read the letter.
I hear you, and I also heard you mention that, you mentioned termination when you brought it up the first time. I just have a really hard time understanding your distinction between what's good for,
Well, Commissioner, this isn't about me. This isn't about
and
you.
anyone who supports me.
This
Oh,
is
it
about
certainly
our
is
auditor.
about, no, sir, it's about me, and I'm fully aware of that. Had it not been an endorsement of me, she would not have been in the situation she was in. I just feel terrible about it, and I would very much request that we stop using this commission as a public forum for vindication. It's just unacceptable. And I will let it go, but I really think what we're doing is shameful.
Well, Commissioner, it's sad you feel that way. It's sad that our auditor would take a public stance in favor of any one individual commissioner. I noticed they didn't send that letter for Commissioner McMackin or anybody else. I think that there's a different standard in this case, Commissioner. And I don't think I think to assure the financial independence of our auditors is not, I think it's a public process, and I think it's not a vindicative process at all. I would have hated to have been the recipient if she had said something bad about you. I would hate to say that, you know, you're ill-prepared or whatever.
But we haven't had a problem with people saying something bad about people on the commission. Only the fact that.
Sure about that?
Well, I don't know, we haven't even brought up any of that, you know, we've kind of let it stay where it belongs, and all I'm saying.
And this is not about you, Commissioner, this is about our auditor, what our auditor did. Let's be very specific. It's not about you. It's about what our auditor chose to do. And I think your action is very appropriate. I think that what they've said is new partner.
And you clearly see that is something totally different than financially contributing to campaigns.
Commissioner, I'm
I would
not
like
going
to
to
make
answer
the
that
rule
question.
that we don't allow that. I think
You
for
can
our
certainly make
auditor.
those requests later or whatever. This, to me, is not the subject before us.
No, but we have publicly punished someone for doing something that to me is far less egregious than maximum campaign contributions from a sitting auditor. I will let it rest, and I believe it's wrong and shameful.
Well, fortunately, in America, we're entitled to our opinions. Anything else in the city manager's report?
Couple of questions, Mr. Mayor.